All right, Mr. Reiss. So, thank you again for doing this. My students are super interested. As you can see, we prepared some questions for you.
Okay.
So, feel free to share as much or as little information as you would like. So, just to start this off, what was your birthday?
February the 24th, 1922.
1922. So, you're how old?
101.
101. That's impressive. So the first question that my kids came up with for you, do you remember what it was like growing up in the Great Depression at all?
I remember a lot of it, yeah, sure. But we didn't have no worries. My dad did, but I don't. My parents, but us kids, we were just natural. We used to have to go over to church and get some stuff, cheese and butter and flour and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Carry it back home. That's about all. And my dad, we moved from the city down to the country, and then he rented 2 acres of ground, and we had a big patch, and then we took all the groceries to Bethlehem and sold them, and that's how he stayed out of the Depression. He worked 1 day a week at the steel, and we got a couple of pigs and some chickens, and my mom did all the canning, and all summer long she was canning, and we got our own food. So us kids, we were just natural play. We played like anybody else.
Yeah.
Sure. So that's the way it was when I was a kid. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. And that was around here, right?
No, that was out in the country in Spring Valley.
Oh, in Spring Valley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, in Spring Valley. Excellent. So you said you were born in 22?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you were born in 22, so you were about 8 or 9 by the time the Depression hit by 1930?
Yeah, I was well, yeah, around that I was a young kid, about 6. We moved down the country.
Okay.
I think the Depression was just starting. I went to school a couple of months in Bethlehem, and then we moved down in the country. I went to a one-room schoolhouse.
Okay.
So I don't know anything else to tell you about that.
Yeah, no, this is great. So moving forward a little bit, the second question we have here for you, what was your reaction? Well, were you drafted or did you volunteer for
No,
World War II?
I volunteered.
You volunteered, okay. How old were you?
Around 20.
Around 20?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This isn't a question here, but do you remember Pearl Harbor?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
What was that like? Do you remember?
Well, I was at home when Pearl Harbor struck.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Springtown then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Were you surprised?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. So going into your World War II service then, how do minesweepers work, and what exactly do you do in a minesweeper?
Well, we go into a harbor before, like our special was the Philippine Islands when we had the invasion of Leyte and Luzon. We went in before the war went on, and then we swept the mines so that it was clear for the soldiers. We put 96,000 men on the beach there. We had 3 beaches: orange, purple, and green beach they were called, and we had 3 army officers come aboard ship, and they took over our ship till the men. Well, each division where they were going to land had a minesweeper, and the officers, and they would direct everything. Like we'd take all our certain equipment in our beach, another they'd take some other things in their beach, another would take it in their beach, and then when they got everything on, then the war started. They came back and tell us that our men were shooting each other. They were so worked up when we were going in. He said something moved and shoot, killed their own men.
Jeez.
He said it was awful.
Huh.
So that's all we did in that particular place. But then we swept mines other places too, to make sure that they were clear. I mean, we were all over the place. I had 18 islands while I was out there.
Wow. And what's the process look like? How do you mine sweep on a boat?
Well, you see this thing here back here? that was the paravanes. They have cables going out with knives on, and then they set them down, and then we're not the only sweep. We have 3, 4, 5 minesweepers together, and we go up and down in the front of the land, and then if there's any mines, that type of mine that has a cable on it, it'll go into the knife, and the knife will cut the cable, and the mine would come up. Then we'd have to shoot them. So, and we used to have a tugboat with us. If we couldn't handle it all, then they come in and blast them with their 20 millimeters. So that's how we got that one. Then we had a 6-cylinder, a General Motors 6-cylinder engine in the engine room here, and that had a cable right here. Was a reel well where we had the cable on, and we'd leave this cable out, and we'd start this engine, and we'd send out electric charge if that type of mine was there. And if that type of mine was there, it would blow up. Then we had the acoustic hammer here. This would go down 35 feet not down into the water, and which we'd have a pump like send out a charge like a sounding noise, boom, 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 boom. And if that type of mine was in there, it would blow them up. So we swept 3 different type of mines.
And would you do that all at the same time, or would you focus on one?
No. I don't exactly know how they operated this, because I was in the black gang. This was all done by the top sailors. I mean, if you worked in the engine room, which I did, I had nothing to do with the minesweeping. It's the guys up top.
Gotcha.
And so, I guess they figured if they blew one up, they'd know what type of mine was there. But I don't know if they knew any other way that they could detect the mine or not. So that's all I know about it. That's what we did.
Interesting. So I guess that ties in good to our next question here. You were in the belly of the ship then, right?
No. I mean, I was if I was on off duty, I'd be out in the galley. We'd be down below, in the room playing and singing, or I'd be up in the top forecastle here and sitting around batting the shit. We played cards in the galley, and we had a room down in the basement here where we had a guy play the guitar, we had a guy play the piano, and you could go up in the engine room and play music on the record player.
Okay.
So
what would you say the attitude of soldiers were while you were on the ship?
our guys,
Yeah.
oh, they were good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Were you?
We had 1 or 2 that were, we liked their booze. We didn't have, the captain said he was going to let us have some beer on the ship. So he says, I'll let you guys have beer. He says, but you can only drink your own. I'm going to assign you to so much beer, and that's all you get. And you don't take nobody else's beer. So what happens if you didn't like beer, you'd sell it. You'd sell it to someone. The other guys used to steal it. Well, when that's happened, the captain said, no more beer on the ship. So one day he come in to the galley, and he says, I'll tell you what, he said, I'm going to try it once more. I'll let you have beer again, but if you do what you did before, that's it. So he got us beer back again, and then we had a chart at the galley. You had your name and how many beer you had when you just chalked it off. So we had a couple guys that liked their beer. They even drank alcohol when they were half drunk.
Yeah.
So that was that about that. And then, like, to go to the movies, we'd have to have permission for a bigger ship that had movies. They'd come over to Weary and pick us up, and then we'd go to the movies. So that's the way it operated.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, that's fascinating.
And one nice thing about it, in our galley, the ship was like this, and there was a seat here with a lid on it, and that was all full of food. And on the sides, that was all. You could help yourself, and we could, and we'd go down. We had a big box of crackers there, about door maybe 2 or 3 inches by 3 inches, and a big box of cheese. Well, if you wanted something, go down there and slice out. And I mean, we got along good. There was no fighting. Only one time our boatswain mate, he was an old grouch. He threw the guy's guitar over the ship,
Oh God.
and that started a fight. So the captain took the guy and took him off the ship,
Oh wow.
and then the peace was back again. But that's the only time that we ever had it. Nobody ever fought on the ship.
That's good.
No, we had a good crew.
Good. Moving on to our next question here. What was the scariest experience you had during the war?
Oh, on D-Day, we were there, and
When you say D-Day, are you talking about the invasion of the Philippines?
when the day had started.
Okay.
A plane there was I think it was the U.S. Springfield, a heavy cruiser. So she was maybe from here down to that fence and maybe a little further away from us.
Okay, so maybe 100 yards plus or minus? Okay.
And this plane come in and went right through the deck, right through the bridge. This suicide plane went through it. And I thought, oh boy, we're going to get it. But then we thought, well, they don't go after little ships like this. They go after the big ones.
So a Japanese plane crashed into...
He come
Wow.
right through towards us, and right in, and they got him. That's about the. And then there was we had at night on the first day we had to stay up 62 hours. That was 62 or 82 hours. We stayed up, and the Japanese would swim with boxes over their head and try to throw ammunition and blow the ship up. So we had to stand watch overnight.
Wow.
For a couple of nights, we did that. And the typhoon. We went to Okinawa. They were going to stage the invasion for Okinawa. So on our way, we got in a typhoon. So we got to Okinawa, and we went up the river. There was a river there. We went up this little river. It wasn't very big. There was a leprosy colony there. Big sign, leprosy colony. Nobody was allowed on it. And all these lepers come along the shore area and waved to us. And we threw everything we could at them, clothes and chewing gum and all that stuff. Whatever we had, we gave. So we were up there a couple of days. And then we come back to Buckner Bay. And right after dinner, I went down and laid on my bunk. And pretty soon, now I was up in the front part of the ship, and there was underneath is the big structure though. It's steel, and the gun holds this gun up. It was built right in the ship, and you had to come down the ladder and go underneath that structure to get into the rooms. And my bunk was right there, so I was laying there. And pretty soon I hear the chain locker, the chain go, the anchor chain, and I heard the engine going. So I got up and Jesus Christ, I walked past there. I come up and walked down back to the engine room, and what's going on? Well, we're in a typhoon and we're right in the bay, and for some reason we couldn't get out. I don't know why, but we circled that bay all night long. And we had 180 mile an hour winds. And you should have seen in the morning, some of these ships were up on the beach.
Wow.
Oh, it was something. That was really scary. I didn't think I was gonna be coming out alive. So that was that typhoon, and it's the only one we've ridden. And otherwise, we never ran into any storm all the couple of years I was in, except that one that we were coming to Buckner Bay, and then we got another one, and then we were caught in the bay. And the big we had a mine layer, this big ship that was the mine layer that carries all the mines, and they had the big spotlights on it, just cruising around, and Usually this ship was up on the beach like somebody picked it up and put it there. It was a mess.
That's
So
unbelievable.
then we had to go. There wasn't a spot on our ship that was dry. The captain come down and laid on the engine room floor. He was soaking wet on. It come way over the bridge here, the wind and the rain.
Jeez.
And then we had to go out to the ocean again and look for survivors. And that was one of the scariest tours I had. Then while I was there, I got a letter from my brother. He was in the Marines, and he was on Okinawa. I says to the captain, "Can I have permission to go see my brother?" I said, "He's on the island here." He said, "Well, I'll give you 82 hours." Now, this is before the invasion. So he said, "I'll give you 82 hours." He says, "You can take somebody along with you." So I took the boatswain mate, and we plowed through the jungles and the army. We got a hitchhike ride. I got to his base, and he wasn't there. Then later on, I got a letter from him. He went to China. So I missed him. I would have liked to see him when I was there, but I didn't get to see him.
He went to China.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, he went to China, Singapore.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah. So then our ship was leaking. When we come, I picked the ship up at Puerto Rico. We come through the Panama Canal up the west coast, and when we were coming up the west coast, we had depth chargers. See, we have two K guns here on each side. And the barrels were full of dynamite, and and we had back here we had maybe 6 on each side on a rack, depth chargers, and we're gonna have practice. And they set the fuses at 12 feet. And I don't know if they wanted to do it or what, but it blew our seams open. And we had just had our ship recaulked. It is a wooden ship. And down in Puerto Rico, they caulked it, painted it, and got it all nice. Blew the seams, and we were leaking. All the time we'd have to pump the bilges every so often. It was a slow leak, you know. So when we got to Okinawa the first time, we were supposed to stay there, and the captain refused to go into the invasion. So then we went to can't think of it now, another island, and got it repaired. And we were going to come back again, and the war was over then. So that was that.
Maybe the 12-foot depth charges was for the better then.
Yeah. We had pretty much I'll tell you, we had two here. Those are two 20 millimeters, one on each side, two 50 calibers up here, the 3-inch 50 here, and all the K guns, 2 K guns, and these would be rolled off the back. We just have to set the fuse and drop them, and they could. So we had pretty much. And we always traveled with like a convoy when we'd go from one place to another. And we used to have three cruisers in front of us all the time. So we felt pretty safe with those 3 cruisers.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah. I never was afraid or anything, you know. So, yeah, you felt good when you see those big ships with you.
I'm sure you did. So I guess that goes nicely into our next question here. What were Americans' attitudes about U.S. soldiers after the war? So when you came home, how did the average American?
Well, like I said, I know where it was. We were at Guam when the war was over, and when we went back we're going back to Okinawa, we had to salute them. The war was over. It was announced that the war was over, and then we had to salute the Japanese. We didn't like that so much, but otherwise. The guys just took it like their everyday job. They I never even thought of it. You know, we had good duty and we were pretty safe, so we never thought of that. I guess I didn't anyhow.
Okay, interesting. And then after the war, you just said that a lot of guys got day jobs. You got a day job working at the Bethlehem Steel, right?
Mm.
So what was that like,
What's that?
working at the Bethlehem Steel?
I didn't like it.
No?
No.
Why not?
Did you ever work piecework?
No.
Well, I worked piecework all my life.
Okay.
And you had two men on the same machine.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had a hungry guy, and say they put a job on the machine, say I put the job on the machine, I put 8 hours on it, the next guy puts 8 hours on it, that guy puts 2 hours on it and finishes it. Well, whoever has the time to turn it in, if he has the most time, he'll charge it in real heavy. And he's making more money than you are then.
Gotcha.
And then you get some that are lazy. They don't do enough responsive for them. And but if you have 3 men on the machine, you're making money. Otherwise, I mean, I made good money. I can't say that. But then you had the piece rate setter. He's out to cut the price whenever he can. And to begin with, there was never enough money on the job to do it. We used to work for by the minutes, 60 minutes in an hour. If the job, they put maybe, say, 1,000 minutes on the job. You divide that by whatever you want. Anything over 60 minutes, you made money. So if we charged it in at 80 minutes, we'd make the money. When I got the job, I just divide 60 into it. That would tell me how long I have to do the job to make money. If I knew I couldn't do it, I'd work day rate. My day rate was, I was an A man. Most of the guys were just learners. I mean, they just come in and learn to do one thing. So, if I would make it half decent, I'd put my honest days in, but sometimes I didn't feel like it. Either I get another green ticket, I put a ticket in for reduced fees and fees, or we told them I had to break up. Sometimes that's another thing that they do. They had your paper in the office, and they could tell if you were ahead. So they said, well, now we have a rush job. Go out and tell him to break up. You'd be doing have a job, even if it wasn't finished. Throw it off, put another job on. Then they didn't want to pay you to put it back on to do it. So then we'd get a green slip. But it was just, I would have rather just went in and did a day's work.
Yeah.
But to fight with the piece rate setter and the boss and the guy you're working on the machine, it wasn't I don't know. We got along though, but sometimes it was rough.
Sounds very political.
And I put 42 and a half years in.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is me when I was a kid at a one-room schoolhouse.
So about maybe 30 kids in that classroom?
Yeah, I guess.
Plus or minus.
This is something.
So you were just going to tell us how...
You think... I'd like to see anybody else do what I did. I'm not bragging. Now listen to this one. When I was 6, during the Depression, my dad moved down the country. He already was born in Durham.
Okay.
That's where their farm was. So my dad was one of the farm. So, and he worked in the steel one day a week. Then we moved down to Spring Valley, and I went to school there, and I went to 8th grade and took my test. I could go to Hellertown, I could go to Bethlehem, Liberty, or trade school. So I picked trade school. So when I was at trade school, I lived in Spring Valley. I used to go by train. I'd get a monthly pass. I'd go from Spring Valley to Bethlehem, get on a train, go home. That was all right. Then we got down to Springtown. So I didn't want to go to Springfield school because I was already in Bethlehem a year. So they had to pay my tuition. Bucks County or Springfield Township had to pay my tuition, but they didn't have to find a way for me to go to school. So I would sometimes I'd go with the doctor when he went to Bethlehem to his office, and most of the time I got a ride with Mr. Strossnider from Pleasant Valley. He worked up at the Steel, and he'd go in at the Mincy Trail Bridge. I'd get out there, walk from there all the way up to Lehigh University where Brocco was, go to school, go downtown, get the trolley, come to Hellertown, and hitchhike 5 miles to Springtown. I did that for a whole year, my senior year.
Wow.
And I had till I got home, it was 1 o'clock every night. I worked 4 to 12 straight. And then I had to get up at 6 o'clock to get to go to school.
So you would go to bed at 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then wake up at 6
Yeah.
to do it all over again.
Yeah, for a whole year I did that.
Jeez.
And but when I'd go home, I usually got a ride from somebody I'd wait till they come out of the Steel car. I'd walk from here to Lightsville maybe, and I knew people there. I used to stop in every night and talk to them. And then when it was 4 o'clock, I would get out on the highway and go. And so sometimes I wouldn't get a ride. I didn't have to walk, but most of the time I got a ride. But it was a hassle. And then on the weekends I had to study. I mean, I had no much time for myself. So it was rough. And then I gave all my money home. I never, I'd get $15 a pay to spend, and I'd get used to the car. And my mom would pack my lunches and do my work for me. But that we still, my dad didn't have no machinery when we first bought the farm. He used to help Mr. Herman do all his work, and then Mr. Herman would come down and help us do our work and use his machinery. And then little by little, my dad started buying machinery until we got all our stuff together. Then in 42, my sister bought the farm next to us. That was a 100-acre place. And then my dad and my brother, after the war, my dad and my brother quit the Steel, and they went farming. My dad started making money with the milk, and my brother worked for my dad.
How long were you married, Jack?
70, 80, 90 some years. 90, no, that wouldn't be 90.
70 something.
70
some years, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
So this isn't a question here, but I remember one of my students was interested in this. Who do you think was our best president in your lifetime?
I think Roosevelt was a good president.
Which one?
Theodore
Roosevelt or FDR?
Yeah, well, or FDR. I saw him out in Pearl Harbor.
Oh yeah.
I'm over at Waikiki Beach, and I'm walking down the pavement, and there's a big limousine went down the street, and he was sitting there, and I waved to him. He waved back. I didn't even know he was there that day. Yeah. Yeah, he was good. Truman was all right. I mean, they ran the country as best they could, but Roosevelt was good.
Interesting.
Oh, when my dad was killed. My dad was killed on 309. He took my mother to the doctor, and the doctor had moved, and they didn't know where he was. He was, you know where Auckland's fruit stand was on 309, across from the bowling alley?
I know where the bowling alley
All
is
right,
in
well,
Vermont.
My mother said, why don't you go over there and ask them, maybe they know where he is. So my dad walked across the street, and when he went across the street, some young kid passed another car and hit him.
Jeez.
Yeah, he threw him 20-some feet. And then there was a big crowd around, and somebody came over to my mother, and she said, what's going on in here? They're all, well, some guy was killed up here. She didn't even know it was my dad at first. So that was one of the shockingest day I had.
Going on to question 12 here. After 101 years, do you have any regrets?
No, I had a good life. I had good parents. I was treated good. Just an ordinary guy. So
At 101 years, yeah, I'd say you're a little more than ordinary.
I don't know why everybody thinks 101 is so great. That's an M1.
Yeah, did you bring that back from the war?
I got it from my buddy.
Gotcha.
And I gave all these guns to my son. Here's one that was made in Hellertown.
Ooh.
This one was made right here in Hellertown.
No way.
Hellerstown. It was called. Hellerstown.
Hellerstown.
Yep. Right down the street here, the gun shop was.
Wow.
There's 4 or 5 houses in the road. That was all gun shop. And these are Civil War muskets. My son has them now. I gave it to him.
What do you know what date that is?
Huh?
Do you know what date that was made? What year about?
No, I have no idea.
That's fascinating.
Gotta be pretty old. On my birthday, I'm sitting here and pretty soon I hear the fire trucks out here blowing the horn like the devil. And what's that? I get up and I look. Here there's about 30, 40 people here. And my daughter-in-law, she come in. She had them hide on the other side of the church till the mayor came. The mayor came, my minister came, and the fire company came. And she goes, "Come on out. They're here wishing you a happy birthday." Oh my God! Then the undertaker, he's our mayor now.
Heinzelman.
Heinzelman. He read a thing over and he gave it to me. I got a lot of stuff in there that I got from him. Get back to your work here.
Hey, no problem. Question 10. Is there anything you would do over again?
Yeah, I'd stay in the Navy.
Yeah?
Yeah. I liked it.
And how long were you in the Navy? From 43 to 46?
I was 21. I was married. I married just before I went in.
Mm.
I was in 2 years. I come back. 22, 23, 24. Yeah. That's about when I went in, around 20 or 21. I went in.
Okay.
So. Yeah, I'd stay in. I would if I wouldn't have wasn't married.
Yeah. Would have stayed in?
Yeah. But
okay. Going on to question 11 here. What was the most shocking event that you experienced in your life?
I'm glad I had no trouble with my kids. They all made out all right.
Good. 2 more questions left here. What would you say is the secret to your long life?
Just hard work.
Yeah.
Hard work. Yeah, I spent when I retired, I bought a machine shop, and I had my son put the garage up for me, and set it all up.
Going on to the next question here. So a lot of students were wondering, what's one piece of advice that you would give to us younger people, being the students?
Oh, I don't know. Just do your best, I guess. Stay out of trouble. Get all the education you can get. Go for your goals.
I have one last question for you.
Aren't we done yet?
One more. We're almost there. If you had one message to the world, what would it be? One message just to throw out there. What would you say?
I don't just try to be a good citizen, I guess. What else can there be? You gotta aim for what you want to do. If you got smart enough, you go to college. If you don't, you take a trade. So I wouldn't know what else. Maybe that guy can tell you.
Yeah, Mike, what do you think?
Yeah,
One message to the world.
yeah,
Have the life like he just had.
That's fair. That is fair.
yeah.
All right, Mr. Reiss, I'm gonna stop recording here in a second, but thank you very much. This
You're welcome.
has been absolutely fascinating.
I hope I
So,
didn't bore you.
No, not in the slightest bit. This was very interesting. So thank you.